Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexie and this is Uncensored Souls. If you are new here, welcome, and if you have been here before, welcome back. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you have not already, and turn on your notifications so that you get notified every time I post a video. So on this video, I wanted to talk to y'all about my journey so far so that y'all can see where I came from and why I am who I am today. So it all started, no, I'm just kidding. So I actually have a video that I posted on my last channel, and I'm probably gonna upload that video because it really tells it tells a story. So just to give y'all a little background note, I am someone who has always suffered from low self-esteem and depression. Growing up, I had sorry, I had a brain fart. I had this burn on my arm. Well, not had, it's still there. But this burn on my arm, it used to I was so insecure about this thing growing up. And so I literally, all through school, elementary, middle school, high school, I wore a jacket every day. Even when it was blazing hot outside, I had a jacket on. And so I felt super uncomfortable when I had to take it off for gym class. I would always be covering my arm some kind of way, or had my arm behind my back, because I just didn't want anybody to see it and ask me about it. I don't know why I was like that, but that's just how it was. So I had that insecurity, and I also had my gap. Y'all see that? Now, don't pay this no attention because this happened as an adult. But this gap, which is crazy. I love my gap now. But anyway, I used to be really insecure about my gap. And I also have alopecia, which not a lot of people know because I've done such a great job my whole life covering it up. But on both sides of my head, and it's been like that since I was really, really young, so I couldn't even tell you. But there's two different stories for why I have it. I feel in my heart I know what the truth is, but I'm not gonna tell the person that tells the other story that I know that story's not true. Anyway, but yeah, so that has been my biggest that's been my biggest insecurity in life. And I got a hair transplant surgery back in 2012, I think it was. And it really I'll show y'all a little bit. So on this side, it really helped to fill it in. It's still kind of thin, but it's not horrible. I cut all my hair off recently too. And but this side, I can't believe I'm showing y'all this. This side is still we working on it. So, but the reason that I ended up cutting my hair off is because I felt this is an insecurity of mine that I still was holding on to, and I said I gotta let it go. I'm about to be 30 in a couple of months, and I'm a beautiful person. I can't let couple of little bald spots hold me back in life, okay? But yeah, so I grew up with those three things. Those were my three big things that I was super, super insecure about. But because of that, it made me so shy in school. So I didn't really talk much growing up. I had a few friends, in middle school. That's when I had the most friends. And then in elementary school, I had one friend that was we were really, really close. But in high school, high school was a struggle for me. And I really I used to feel so lonely all the time. And I had nights where I would cry myself to sleep and not even know why I was crying myself to sleep, but I just felt just emptiness inside of me. And so, you know, fast forward to my adulthood, I have been like in and out of college. I still have not graduated from college. I literally only have 5 more classes left, so at some point it's gonna get done. But I went to I live in Georgia, so I started off at Georgia Perimeter College, which is now, it's no longer Georgia Perimeter, it's Georgia State. But I started off at Georgia Perimeter, which is like a little community college, and I was like, this just doesn't really feel like me. Like, I've never really cared for school, honestly, and that's why it's taken me so long to graduate, to be honest with y'all. But I just wasn't feeling it. So one day after, I think it was a math class, I decided that I was gonna drop my classes. And so I did, and I sent my parents a text message. I was like, hey, just wanna let y'all know I just dropped all my classes, and they were not happy about that, but that's just what I was feeling. And so I didn't really know what the plan was, but I just knew school wasn't it. So I moved to Virginia for like literally a little while to stay with my uncle. And I ended up I was like, when I got there, I said, okay, maybe I should go back to school. So I applied to Jacksonville State in Alabama, and I got accepted there, moved to JSU, and oh my God. I was just not focused when I was in school. Like, I started drinking. I didn't go to class. If I was in class, I would sleep. I just was not focused at all. And I ended up getting a job. And then it's not a lot of people that know about this, but I ended up getting a job at it's called a titty bar. So it's like a strip club, but it's not, because in a titty bar you don't get naked. You take your top off, but you gotta wear like these little pasties. But we wore duct tape. But anyway, and I ended up, that job. In the beginning, it was cool. You know, it was making a whole lot of money. It was me and this girl that I went to high school with. And because we were new, you know, people was just throwing money at us. But it was in like this little hole in the wall, small town in Alabama. So I don't know how we ended up there, but that is where we ended up. And at some point, like, the money kind of started to slow down a little bit, and I kind of started to get depressed working there, because I was like, what? Like, how? Why am I here? Why am I here? And then I met someone who I don't even want to say that we dated, because we never really made it official, but we had a very toxic relationship. And I got into some stuff that I would have never thought that I would get into with him, but you know, the lesson that I learned from him, maybe I'll talk about him another time on this channel, but the lesson that I learned from him was just really how to not allow people to walk over me, and you know, just I don't take no from nobody because of him. All right. And not because he like taught me that. I had to learn that from just dealing with him. But where was I going with that? So yeah, and I ended up moving in with him after knowing him for a very short amount of time. And everything kind of just started going downhill. And so I moved back to Georgia, and I got a job working at Cracker Barrel, and you know, I was just kind of like just floating through life. But when I started working at Cracker Barrel, there was this old man who was working there. He was not there very long. Like, he started probably like a week before me, but when he saw me, he said to me, he looked at me and he asked me what was wrong or something like that, and I'm like, nothing's wrong with me. And he said, you just have, what did he say? He told me I had sad eyes or something. I don't know, something about my eyes being sad, something like that. And that has like always stuck with me because I knew that I was not happy. Like, I don't even know when was the last time I was happy at, at this point. I'm like 20, about to be 21 at this point, and I couldn't remember a time of like true happiness, except for I had some, we'll talk about my summer times another time, but when I was a kid I had some moments of happiness, but for the most part I knew something wasn't right with me, and I've just always done a really good job hiding it. And so when he said that to me, I was like, oh, like, you can see me, like, you could really see me. And so that always stood out to me. And I ended up, I was at Cracker Barrel for like 4 years, I think, and then I got this job working in this doctor's office, and that job, oh my God, I was so miserable working there. And I was so... Okay, sorry, my storage is full on my phone, and I really need another one, honestly, for recording. But anyway, so I think I was saying I was at my working in a doctor's office, and by now, how old am I? I'm like 25, something like that. And 24, 25, and I was just so miserable there, and I was so like negative and didn't realize how negative I was. But one day I got to a point where my finances just kind of started going down, and it made me just become super depressed. And wow, it got dark quick outside. It made me become really, really depressed, and I just got to a point where I was like, okay, something's really not right, and something's got to change. And that's when I realized that I was like depressed. And so I was staying at my mom's house, and the room that I was in the basement, but it didn't have any windows. So every day I was coming home to this dark room with no windows, and I was like, okay, well, this is definitely part of the problem. Or at least it's not helping at all. So I moved to a different room that had a window. And the reason that I was in the room that didn't have the window was because it was just a big, really big room. And so I moved to a different room, and I started watching these. Now by this time, this is like 2018. This is when things started to my mindset started to slowly change. So I started watching like different motivational speakers on my way to work. I would listen to mostly Tony Robbins and Les Brown. Like, those were the two that I really listened to the most. And I started changing the way that I was thinking. So I had this one affirmation that I said all the time, which was, I always have money. And once I really started saying that, I did always have money. It wasn't a whole lot of money, but I was never like without anything. And so as I started watching them, that's when I kind of started hearing about meditation, which obviously I've heard about meditation before, but just not in like any real detail. And so I was like, you know what, let me give this a try. And so I would try it, and didn't really do anything, because I'm thinking, that my mind's supposed to be completely clear, and I'm not supposed to have any thoughts about anything. And so it just didn't work to me. And in 2019, that's when I really started to focus some more on like the law of attraction, and just really watching the way that I speak. And I wasn't really meditating as much, but I was meditating more than I was the previous year. So I was trying to get into it a little bit. But 2020, y'all. Now, 2020 was a tragic year for a lot of people. And honestly, 2020, I'm surprised, was not a tragic year for me because I live by myself. It's just me and my dogs. And I don't know, I just feel like I should have probably been somebody who didn't do well during this whole lockdown and pandemic situation. Like, I just felt like I probably was somebody who shouldn't have done well. But I did feel myself going down that road. Like, I was just, in the beginning, it was cool because I'm like, okay, because at this point, I'm not working in the doctor's office. I quit that job in 2018, and I went back to Cracker Barrel when I quit there. So I was driving Lyft and working at Cracker Barrel, literally working every single day. And so at the beginning of everything, I was like, this is cool. Like, I get to take a break, which would be nice. So the first couple weeks passed, and I was like, okay. And then I started to realize, like, the days were just zooming by. And I'm like, what is happening to the time? Like, I just woke up and now it's nighttime already. And so I said to myself, okay, what's one thing that you've always wanted to do? And it's a few things that I've always wanted to do, but I decided I'm just pick one and I'm going to focus on that. And so I chose meditation. So starting, I think it was like the end of March or sometime in April, I started to meditate every day. And with that, I started to journal. And that just really transformed me. And I'm going to get more into that in my next video. But I don't know, like, so much has changed within me from last year. Like, it hasn't even been a full year yet, and things are just turning around for me. Like, this has been an amazing year for me, and I'm it's unfortunate all the things that happened. I mean, and they're still happening because it's only February of 2021. Like, we're still dealing with all of this, but I'm just grateful for what it has done for me personally. And I never in a million years would have thought that I would actually be going through with making a YouTube channel and just being where I am right now, period. So that's just a little bit about me and my journey. It's not super detailed. Maybe I'll get more into detail as my channel grows, and if y'all want to know more, just let me know. But yeah, that's just a little start into my life and into the person that y'all are seeing today. This video has actually lasted a lot longer than I expected and that I planned, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up and get into my next video where I will be wearing this same attire. Okay, so I'll see y'all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and that's it.